question is, why should we, if I'm an educator and I'm looking at next school year, even if I'm a first
Mhm.
year teacher, whatever it is, summer school, why should I even consider going gradeless?
I will say the first thing that I kind of land on with this is that it is a way more equitable way for students to earn grades in your class. So as I explained, I started with the the changing it because of all of these systems that I put in place that were really doing a lot of harm to me. There was no way that I could stay in education if I was continuing on the pathway that I was on. So that's a lot of the reason why I had changed. And we can't avoid assigning grades. As I explained, we have to still assign grades. But the question becomes, with grades that do get assigned, where is your capacity to make them not subjective?
Mhm.
There is no way to make grades not subjective. They are very subjective, and I will die on that hill. It just that's what I that is one of the hills I will completely die on. Grades are subjective. Oftentimes, because we're protecting these systems, when questions arise about grades and how did I earn something, we keep defaulting to things like, well, you didn't answer the question in its entirety and completely, but then who's dictating what a complete answer looks like? Who's dictating what the entire answer looks like? It's not giving kids a lot of wiggle room to understand nuance to things. And what happens is that they do direct compliance with what's going to get me the grade, especially those kids who are searching for the A's, and you get those kids that are, if they're at a 99.98%, they want that 0.02. So you have a group of kids who are what we would consider by standard high achievers. Then you also have kids who are maybe not doing well because they have had repeated trauma that they have to keep, they keep reliving or keep experiencing, or it keeps coming back up in cycles. We have students who have traditionally not been great students, and that happens for one reason or another. So it might be because a student has ADHD, that ADHD might be untreated, and they may not be handing in all of their assignments because their work goes into what we call, it happens less now than it used to, but my son has what we call the doom bag. So it's don't organize, only move materials. It all goes in the doom bag and then nothing happens with it. And it's like you go start leafing through there and you're like, wait a minute. And you're pulling out like 4 assignments that they never turned in because they lack the executive functioning to be able to organize their work. And it's not that the work isn't done well. So then it's like they've lost the ability to submit that because a teacher has a policy in place that says they don't take assignments after the second week. So that runs into an issue, and that has happened not only to my own child, but I have seen that happen to other children. And when I was in my early stages of teaching, I did that. So it's not equitable. And if we are saying we are assessing learning, then one of the things that we hear is that, well, we have to teach kids to be able to, obey deadlines, and those are important. And I don't disagree with that, but there are students who do not learn about that when measures are punitive. And that goes in with students who are neurodivergent. They do not learn to change behaviors because a punitive measure is taken. So that's another place where ungrading gradeless is helpful, because if you're looking at student work, it's about what the student is able to give you to demonstrate the learning has taken place. So it de-emphasizes compliance with work submission. And it looks at, what are you giving me that's actually a good demonstration and that your learning has taken place? It de-emphasizes those things, emphasizes growth. It does all of those things. And again, like I go back to, as a teacher, what does the system do that's harmful to you? The negotiation was harmful to me. Staying up until 1:00 in the morning, trying to grade papers, not assess them, because I wasn't giving that much feedback, but I was marking them. The students weren't getting actionable feedback that was going to make them better writers. They got a grade. Sometimes the kids would come ask me, but what happens is that the kid looks at it and goes, oh, And then they throw it in the doom bag, and then, there goes any possibility that they're going to apply that feedback to something later on.
It avoids the doom bag. I got to use that one because I know my son's kind of similar to that. So it was, it's the end of the year now as we're recording this, and next week is his last week, and I was just going through his bag, and I was just, what in the heck is he has an accordion, and I'm like, dude, accordion binder, like it's all labeled, just put it in the right spot. It's a mess.